Tamron 28-75 for Sony. I've had this now for 12 months and this is what I think. So there's a lot of other reviews out there about this lens, the details, all the little things that you probably want to know before you buy it. But there's also not very many videos about what it's been like to live with on a long-term basis. Now I've had this for over 12 months. I've already done my initial review on it, very positive, as is everyone's opinion of this lens. I just wanted to touch base as to where I am with my wedding photography, what camera and lenses I'm still using on a regular basis, and where does this fit into that. So I've reviewed a lot of 85mm lenses recently. The Sony A7III 1.8 was a very long-term lens of mine and I absolutely love it. I was sent the Samyang lens a couple of months ago, the A7III 1.4. I had to send it back, but as you can see, I've still got one. Because, in my opinion, it's the best budget 85mm out there at the moment. For any lens around the £500 mark, if you can get the quality that you get out of this, snap it up. That is a superb portrait lens. The only reason I still use this, as well as the Tamron, I always have two bodies for professional work, but there's something about the portraits you get out of this lens that you don't get from the Tamron. For everything else, there's the Tamron. So 12 months on, over 50 weddings that I've shot with this, purely on wedding photography. How do I feel about it? Well, I start with the negatives. The only main negative of this lens is its funny focal length. Now 28mm to 75 is nice. The extra 5mm isn't that much of a difference really when you're zooming in either 70 or 75. That's not something I notice a difference of. In fact, it's not much really from 75 to 85. Tiny bit more reach, but really that's just about the different look I can get from a 1.4 than I can from a 2.8. The main thing, and it's only a little thing, but the main issue for me with this lens is it is only as wide as 28mm. It would have been lovely to be a 24mm, but I know for a fact that would have made the lens much bigger, a little bit wider, a lot heavier, especially when you compare it to the G Master, the Sony 24-70. That's a lot heavier, is a bit bigger, and it's more than double the cost. And that isn't something I'm willing to pay for. Now recently, Tamron have actually just addressed this by releasing their super wide zoom, which is a 17-28mm. Now, I love the idea, I love what they're doing. It's a little bit more expensive than this, obviously, because it's also a 2.8 all the way through, and it's trying to go up against the G Master. It doesn't quite get there for me, and I'll tell you why. The 17 is fine. I'm not worried about it being 16mm or 17mm. It's about the same, and that's fine. But it only goes up to 28mm. Now, it only goes up to 28mm because this one starts at 28mm and it keeps the size down. The G Master goes up to 35mm, and that is a very popular focal length, especially for couple shots. And as a wedding photographer, you'll see my review on the G Master 16-35. It's expensive, but I absolutely love it, and it is one that I am trying to get hold of in the near future once budget allows. So it's not quite wide enough, but it is wide enough for most of the time. And it's very rare that I have to actually step back much. I mean, yeah, you can generally just step back, but if you're using this at 28mm wide, it's probably because you're trying to get as much of the landscape in or the scene as you can. A couple of these images show that I can get it, but I would have to go back even further, or sometimes you can't because of obstacles or a drop that you just can't get back any further. And that's my only real gripe with this, is that it's not a 24-70. Other than that, it's absolutely superb. For the last 12 months, it has not let me down once. It focuses fantastically well. Some of these night shots you'll see, I've used off-camera flash and it's quite dark, but the performance that it gets, the focusing is really good. It doesn't nail it every single time. It's not going to, but nor is any lens, and it really gets it most of the time. When it's nice and light, it gets it every time. Anything outside during the day, it's never been an issue for me at all. How is it held up? Well, you can probably see on the overhead camera, it's held up really well. I don't mollycoddle my equipment. I'm not terrible with them. I try not to throw them around, but I'm not overprotective. They are tools, they have to do a job. If they take a little knock here and there, not a problem. I haven't really knocked it, but you can see The smoothness of the zoom ring is still lovely. It operates perfectly. I don't do manual focus, so I can't really comment on that. I imagine that's still working perfectly well. It is fly-by-wire, and the autofocus with the Sony A7 III is superb, as I've already gone on and on about several times. So I know they made it a 28mm to keep the cost down, but it was also to keep the size down, and the size and weight of this really is a joy to use. It's not heavy, it's not bulky. I happen to use the old 24-70 Tamron, which was not the G2, the ones before that, and I used that with my Canon system, and it was a bit heavy. It wasn't a massive pain, but it was all noticeable, especially with the Canon DSLR body. Going over to Sony, this fits lovely. It doesn't find itself being too front heavy at any point, whereas the 24-70 G Master is quite front heavy, especially if you want to do any video work. I haven't done a lot of video work with these. I still use Panasonic, which is what I'm recording now. The Panasonic is good. I know for certain things the Sony is a better choice, and the video work and autofocus that you can get from this Tamron is brilliant. But this is mainly about my 12 months of use with photography, and I just have to say it's been an absolute joy to use. I want to show you just a few images now, just to show off exactly what I've been able to do over the last 12 months with this lens. Check this out. Yeah, pretty damn good. I love this lens. I love what it can do. It's just an absolute winner. When you get these images printed up, I've got several in the studio that I've printed up rather large, and they are beautiful. The image quality is stunning, super sharp. The chromatic aberration is pretty much non-existent. It's just an absolute winner. So price-wise now, I know you can pick this up in the UK for about £750, still under $900 in the US. For the last 12 months, it's been sold out on and off. You haven't actually been able to get one. I know for a fact, if this one died, I'd be rushing straight out to buy another one. It is my workhorse. You may have seen by my other reviews on the channel, I like to use prime lenses, the 55 and the 50, the 28mm prime. But I'll be honest, most of the time I still use this. It gets used at every wedding. It makes it nice and easy if I'm doing off-camera flash and I just want to take one camera with me. I can cover most focal lengths with this. And that's a different beast. You don't necessarily need the fastest lens when you're doing off-camera flash. Again, during the first dance is something that straight away I can work fast. I can get the wide angle shot, put the camera close to the floor and get a sparkly dance floor shot with everyone behind, and then I can zoom straight in 75 and just get the couple in that moment. Absolutely love this lens for all of that in the second part of the day. So I've not exactly dropped this lens for any reason or put it through the paces more than maybe someone who's taken it out in the desert or super extreme, but a wedding day can be actually very extreme. All weather, I've taken it out, it's got wet, the wind, it's had a few little knocks against stone walls, and it's come out looking still pretty tidy. As you can see, it's actually very tidy. Tidier than some of my other lenses. I've had the Sony A7III and on the lens hood I already put a massive scratch within an hour of using it. It's a big lens hood, it's a chunky lens, but yeah, I'm not that straight away. The material they use on this wears really well, and the only thing I will say of note, there's a very slight indentation, which I don't even think you can see. You might be able to. It's a little bit glossy there, and that's because when I'm zooming, I'm holding that bit there. I do that and thumbprint there, and that's my main action when I'm zooming in. But it's held up really well. Tamron also decided to tease us with a little image of the 17-28 and the 28-75 next to what looks like an extended zoom, something like the rumor mill is saying a 75 to 180mm 2.8. They've compared that to the size of the G Master 2.8, 70 to 200, and it looks nearly half the size. Compared to this, it's probably just a little bit bigger and the same width, and I'm telling you now, if that's under £1,000, I will be picking one up straight away. I'm actually very eager for that lens to come out, so watch this space on that one. Now I do use this 85mm 1.4 from Samyang and I love it. I'll be very keen to see if Tamron do their own higher end 85mm 1.4. There's lots of 85mm 1.8s, but the 85 1.4, if Tamron did one and it matched, I'd be very keen to see what that could do. It doesn't bother me that I don't use the same manufacturer for my lenses. It all comes down to what gets the best results. Obviously I use the same camera bodies, but it'd be interesting to see what those three prime lenses that Tamron have teased us with are. I got a feeling they're going to be more around a 24, a 35 and a 50mm. But we'll see what they release. So 12 months on, do I recommend this lens? Do I regret buying it? Yes, I recommend it. No, I don't regret buying it. If you haven't bought one yet, and you don't own a zoom of this focal length, just go and get one. No matter what happens to any of my primes, if I had to, I could shoot the whole day on this and still get great results. Not be worried about what my client was after, not be worried about my own work. It just does its job, does it perfectly. I love it. 12 months on, I'm still in love. This is the one to get, as I say, for £750 or $900 in the US. Just get it. Hope you've enjoyed my little trip down memory lane for the last 12 months. I've enjoyed looking at some of these images. I forgot how many good images I've got just this year alone with this lens. As always, there's a lot more coming to the channel. We've actually got some exciting videos coming up where we're going to be taking a model out on the streets, and we've also got a giveaway coming up. You may have seen recently I did a video about the K&F tripod. They've actually sent me the carbon fiber version of that tripod, which is going to be a video coming up very soon, and I'm going to be giving away the tripod from the first video. So if you're after a travel tripod and you want to know more, watch the video. You'll be able to see how you can get your hands on that, and it'll be available to anyone that I can ship to. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, bell notification icon as well if you want to be kept informed of our future videos. As always, I'm Matt from Roto, and I'll catch you in the next one.